Hello, and welcome to another episode of Power On Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Taylor, and with me, as always, is the Crest Pro Health Cavities, Gingivitis, Plaque Sensitivity, Tartar Whitening, Freshening Breath fighter there. Sushi B, how you doing, Sushi B?
I don't know, because I don't know. I was feeling tranquil and calm until I got a huge earful of dental cavity and whatnot you were spewing off there. It makes me feel like I really got to go back to the dentist, though. So, um, were you just reading a tube of toothpaste or something?
Totally was just.
Is it Crest?
Yes.
Well, that was a good guess. Nice. Not bad, not bad. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, and with us is a very familiar voice. Da-da-da-da. And that is there, Mr. Swagmons, RPG Swagmons.
The Mons.
The Mons.
The Mons. Physique.
The physique.
The physique. How you doing, Greg?
I'm actually not doing okay. I'm still recovering from an illness that's been very painful for the last couple of weeks, but I'm sort of slowly on the mend. Had some really good I would say probably some of the best game-related news announced this week that sort of kept my spirits high. So,
Nice.
For those of you who are wondering, Greg is suffering from Ebola, and he is pulling through for us.
Taking one for the team.
Some death knell deep breath there.
That sounded like you're doing a line of coke, actually. But
God damn.
Well,
rolled up Aussie $50 bill.
I was about to say.
I wonder if those plastic bills work better than the paper ones.
I have no idea. the only Coke I've ever seen is powder that was used on a movie set. That's as close as
As you're about to go the line of Coca-Cola there, the only Coke you've seen is those bottles of Coca-Cola.
That is the only Coke that I've ingested. Coca-Cola. There's just a funny little story talking to Taylor about he sent me a message one day about the difference between Australian Cola and Mexican Coke. And I was like, I have no idea what the difference is. And then he proceeded to do some really good research to find out it's very similar.
I was interested because I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but at least in the States, it doesn't have the sugar cane, and then the Mexican one uses sugar cane, and that one's pretty tasty.
I just assumed it was universal, and then you gave me that news, and it's like, oh shit. When I go on trip to America, that's going to be interesting then.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know some drinks, they do make them differently. I know Mountain Dew here in Korea is really different, and it doesn't taste the same. It's quite bad, actually. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Like, it just doesn't taste good if you like Mountain Dew.
Yeah, so it tastes the same like in Australia, because I think Mountain Dew's bad over here.
I was going to say they've started the throwback ones here where they've added in like real sugar or something that's in like the ye old like 70s kind of font and everything. And it's all funkadelic. Well, not funkadelic, that's 60s, but it's all kind of...
Sprite with that weird lemon thing that you used to drop in the can or something? Didn't they
thought
have
that
a
was...
lemon ball or something?
I don't know, but I thought that was the lime and the coconut.
I will say one thing. I don't know if this is universal. I hope not. But my least favorite drink is Dr. Pepper, because to me it tastes like fizzy cough syrup.
Ugh. Well, when you put it like
does.
that, geez.
It's really bad. Ugh.
Quite strong. It's got a bit of a cherry flavor to me.
It tastes like a stronger flavor of cherry Pepsi to me. I don't mind it, but not my favorite kind of soda. But this isn't about soda. We've totally derailed this, but that's all right. It kind of, I guess it could kind of play in hand. I don't know why you would use it to do it, but we actually, for this episode, wanted to talk about relaxing. Kind of calming the nerves, and you kind of like, what do you do to relax and that sort of thing?
Many things.
We're all so relaxed. We have nothing to contribute.
Well, I mean, I guess it would kind of depend from changing your mood from one, like if you're angry to being relaxed would be different than if you were sad and you're trying to calm down and relax.
Hmm.
I would figure, I would think that you would do different things in that regard, or maybe there is just this one kind of holy grail thing that you do or use or watch or whatever that kind of puts you into that mood. So, I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk about it. And since Greg brought it to mind, I think Greg should start us off.
Yeah, I've created a lot of relaxing techniques and a lot of things because I did leave a very stressful life a couple of years ago, and I would have gone nuts if I didn't do half the things I did. One of the big things was I used to go on walks a lot, and that actually was very serene for me. That's when I was doing the retail work, and that would just drive me absolute bonkers. But
Why would that drive you bonkers?
because you're always coughing shit by people for no good reason. That is retail in a nutshell. No, because I actually found out that I was a very introverted person, and I didn't find that out until very later working in retail. That's why I was kind of becoming miserable. But I think when you're surrounded by so many people at an alarming rate, you just need that space. And that's why when I went on a walk, the outside world did not apply. It was just me, my legs, and whatever's in my mind. And I kind of felt that to be really soothing. And most days off, I would just go walking as well, back where I used to live. Like, because I live close to many different beaches and there's a lot of great parks, I would just go walking and, it was also a great method for coming up with things, because I do find creating things in my mind to be very soothing.
I would say that it kind of leads in the hand of there that like an active body leads to a healthier and active mind.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
that really like you say parks and beaches, but weren't there a bunch of other people that were around there?
Depends on the day, because there'd be a lot of days where no one would be there. They'd be off somewhere else.
Because because it kind of would make me wonder if there were a bunch of people around, how that would make you. Would you just kind of ignore that then, or?
Sometimes I'd zone out, so which was really good, and mind my own business, because there's a lot of people. You see people sort of trying to figure out what everyone else is doing. I'm not one of those people. I just pretty much I'm left to my own devices, whatever I'm thinking of, and but at least I've got that other part of my brain that say if someone on a bike is coming, I'm not going to just be like, ooh, I'm open target. No, I step off to the side. So
I was say with
So,
the bikes. Sorry, Sushi, I'm gonna go.
oh, I was just going to say, so Greg can legitimately put on his datematch.com profile, likes long walks on the beach.
Um,
dep-
but if you like some in solidarity, then it's kind of
redundant.
well, not redundant, but
No,
doesn't that kind of defeat the point?
No,
But you never know. Maybe you would want to walk on the beach with somebody, right? So I know you're
yeah,
saying
like
you'd like to walk alone, but if you find the right
yeah.
person, I suppose. So.
No, very, very true. I haven't done it yet, so find that right person. Yeah, it'd be great to have someone tag along.
The as I say, you mentioned something about kind of thinking about other things. What generally would you be thinking about?
Well, obviously things that that don't stress me out, but no real world issues, basically.
Only
Just
first world problems?
yeah. Things I would like to do, or things I would like to create. That's what sort of brings me happiness. You know, and I'm not saying small term things like, oh, that game's coming out. It's like, well, I'm going to get that because I put down money and I'm going to get it. Though you sort of thinking about it too much, since it's going to be a reality in a couple of days. That there is some things like the one that I do find bittersweet. Of course, I think about Japan a lot, and that relaxes me in some ways, but it also stresses me out a little bit to say, oh man, I wish I was there. But no, but in terms of creativity, yeah, I come up with a lot of when I used to do videos. Because back in the old days of YouTube, I used to just come up with topics. Because a lot of people would do video responses to whatever the community's going, and I used to usually like to go against the grain and just talk about whatever comes to my mind instead. And most of those ideas I would come up for those videos just was a result of me walking around.
No, okay.
So.
Hmm.
But that's just one of the many, many things. One of the things that did give me a lot of peace when I was a teenager, and it wasn't
Really?
something...
You're gonna go there?
Yes! Well, you
I've
gotta
totally
scratch
killed
that
the
itch.
cover.
Box of tissues, parents'
Uh.
basement,
Locked door, and a whole
no
lot of
lights,
prayers.
No, I'm
darken out
just
the
in a lot of
windows.
pain. Back when I was in high school, I was, I think, I don't know if it was the trouble kids, not like the bad kids, but the kids that used to get picked on a lot. They were all rounded up, and we got 3 lessons in Aikido, and I've done a couple martial arts in my life, and that's the one that's sort of brought me to the most spiritual, I would say, and it would bring me a lot of peace to practice the different formations and the different katas and everything. It felt really good, and I think that's when I felt the most fittest in my life, and I really enjoyed it, and I've completely let myself go in that regard. but
So just like Steven Seagal.
yes, pretty
Aw.
much. You know what's funny? There was just before the podcast, there was one of his later movies just on TV, and I noticed the camera would not do any mid shots. It'd always be the legs or the face.
It's pretty bad. And they're all filmed in Eastern Europe.
Yep.
Don't know what that's all about, but maybe it's the cheapest place for them to film. I'm not sure, but anyways, sorry, Craig.
No.
Well, I think a lot of people find some sort of comfort zone or solace in doing some sort of martial arts. It seems to really level people out in one way or another, just to kind of be able to do this, to learn from it, to they kind of hone in and focus on it, which is really nice. Of
Yep.
course, some people don't at all, and they're just like whatever. But it seems that people will find. I don't. Yeah, it seems like people will find a good deal of solace from doing that. And maybe that has to do with having the active body, active mind kind of thing, or what. But so I would say I'm gonna push it over there to the sushi there, because I'm kind of curious what are a couple things that kind of make this person tick.
Like a time bomb.
Like a time bomb, yes.
I don't know. You asked, or you didn't ask, but you had mentioned this to me, I don't know when, maybe a week ago, Taylor? Something like that, right? A little while ago. And then, I said to you, well, I'm quite relaxed most of the time. I don't get very upset very often, which is really weird. Being in the education field, it's a very stressful type work. Every day you're dealing with just different people, if it's parents or children or teenagers. So they can be very stressful situations that you're in pretty much daily. But I don't know. Since I was young, I just always had a very long fuse. It just takes a lot before I get really upset about something. And if I do get upset, I'm pretty calm about it in a very short amount of time. 10, 15 minutes, I'm okay again. So, and it rarely happens. I can't even tell you the last time I actually literally exploded with anger. Is quite a while ago. Now, the funny thing about that is if you really think about stress, often some people that say they're not stressed at all and stuff are actually people that are extremely stressed, but they just have these weird ways of working around it. So I'm not sure if I'm one of those people or not. Of course, everyone would like to believe that they're not, but I couldn't say for sure. But I would be very interested to take an actual stress test, through some sort of psychological testing would be really interesting. I don't know. Have you guys ever tried anything like that, or be interested in doing that, or?
Interested, maybe.
I've already taken one, so
Oh, really? For our stress test? I'm curious. Like, I don't even know what the parameters of it would be. I'm
I'm not sure either.
Oh, there's different ones. It tries to figure out what you are, like if you're extrovert, introvert, because that plays a big part.
Mhm.
Social factors, which was a big thing for me. Like, I found out that I like to have my me time a lot more than the average person,
Mhm.
and just dealing with the public and dealing with a team and all that sort of jazz, and of course different activities, physical versus mental. There's a whole heap of different avenues there to explore, and of course there's different tests to test out whether.
Did you go somewhere
So,
to do it, Greg, or just at home, or?
oh no, so it's all at a job network, but that's where the stress came from 100% of the time. So to take a stress test in the one place that makes you the most stressed, go figure.
Well, I know that some of those tests, they have you come into whatever their facility or whatnot, and then they may change around the room. Sometimes they have a specific room with some furniture
Yeah,
and specific lighting, and then they move it around for each person that comes in
yeah.
and sort of check it out, how they're reacting and stuff like that, which is really interesting.
Huh.
It's humans' ability to adapt
Hmm.
to different situations, because everyone builds this pattern, and if they're so comfortable in the pattern they've created, to change it might be an alarm for them, and it might be a positive reaction, might be a negative reaction. So yeah, I've heard of that too.
Hmm. All right. Well, that's pretty interesting to hear you've experienced that. But I don't know. I guess for me, just getting back to what you had already asked earlier, Taylor,
Mm.
I don't know like if I have all these outlets just in my mind, but there are things obviously I like to do that just make me feel calm in general.
Mm.
And it's sort of along the lines with Greg. I used to enjoy walking quite a bit, and I still do walk often, but I've noticed I like driving.
Road trip.
Yeah, road trip. Woohoo! You driving us there, Sushi? We've lost Sushi. Evidently, he liked driving so much that he he decided to just leave us and bail.
Sushi, come in, sushi. Sushi. Sushi.
Oh,
Maybe you thought about it too much, and it's like, screw this. Maybe you
Oh,
should
I'm
do.
here.
Maybe you should do the podcast while driving.
Yeah,
yeah, that'll go over well, Greg.
I'm sure it'll go over really well in Australia with the poor connection.
Oh,
It'll just sound like falling down an endless pit.
all right.
Anyway, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Uh, did you want to just continue on or what?
Yeah, go back to what you were saying, which I kind of
Driving.
forgot. There you go, driving. Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoy driving. I don't, it's just more of a recent thing for me because I did a lot of walking and things like that, especially in the evening. I really enjoy driving in the evening when there's not many cars around, not much traffic, so you can sort of just clear your head, just drive around. And I like driving with the window open. Doesn't matter what the season is. Doesn't have to be, if it's winter, it's obviously not all the way down. But I don't know. Just for me, it's nice to, even though my mind is being, as you maybe alluded to earlier, Taylor, being active, but I can just relax while just sort of being in control of this vehicle. So,
I did that myself a bit when I was in Japan, and a little bit when I was in college, but mostly in Japan I did that. I was just mainly I think it was to get out any sort of aggression I had towards driving in the day because traffic sucks
it's,
so bad.
it's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Yeah, I'd imagine it is over there too.
Oh, it's just that it seems to be almost all of Asia, right? There's just so much traffic all the time, except
Right.
for maybe later in the evening.
Yeah, when you go around driving at night or something and there's like nobody, it's like, oh, this is amazing. It's great. This is fantastic. This
Mm.
is what it should be. Not,
Well, North American driving is just very different. So
Well, I
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I meant just the with the lights and everything. It's not as much.
Right.
It's not as problematic. And just
I don't even know if driving in the day is that relaxing to me unless it's on the highway and it's, I'm just passing miles and miles of open land and mountains and stuff. For me, that the daytime would be better like that. I don't really like driving in the city in the day, not even because of the traffic. I just feels, I don't know, almost claustrophobic, I guess.
huh.
But
Hmm.
in the evening, I feel really calm. It's just, as you said, it's the lights and I don't know why. Just,
The lights in the city. Uh,
we're going on a journey now. So.
but
Lights.
oh my goodness. No, it's really nice. I wouldn't say claustrophobic during the day, but just kind of it's the daytime.
Cluttered? I don't
It's
know.
kind of ho hum. Like okay,
Right.
we're driving during the day. No, we're driving at night.
Plus, all the weird stuff usually happens in the evening too. Right? The weird, the creatures of the night crawl out. So
Oh goodness.
then, what about you, Taylor? What's something you want to share?
Probably a big thing, like, cause doing walks is one of those as well that I enjoyed doing. It will calm me down. It actually kind of has given me a bit of an epiphany in life about just like directions for myself and things to do and whatnot. The it also just kind of helps to get out of the house. So you're not just sitting in the house all the damn time. Uh, but probably one that hasn't been brought up yet is music. I really like to listen to music that has no words. A lot of instrumental stuff. Well, like
Yeah.
being partially deaf in one ear allows my mind to wander when it comes to lyrics. So I just kind of a lot of times change the lyrics in my head, but because I don't hear it properly. But just instrumental stuff that's just kind of calm and soothing. Like
Mhm.
pianos and violins and stuff. Not like orchestral. You know, the fifths.
Beethoven's Fifth
Right,
Symphony.
right. Or, sort of thing. But just kind of, I'll listen to some of like some Mozart, which is really nice. I do like a little bit of Tchaikovsky's music, so
Mm.
I'll
Nice.
listen to a little bit of that. But it's usually it just comes down to good and kind of soothing violin and piano, not like da 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 kind of thing. Just,
Yeah. That was actually going to be my next choice, but not all music. It has to be the soothing, calming, relaxing music. And I've already said on many different occasions I actually like to listen to game music. But with most of the stuff on my PSP is all battle music, is all intense music. It's not something I can sit down and relax with.
right.
It's good active music. However, there is some exceptions to that. Like just before this podcast, I listened to what I would believe to be one of the most relaxing pieces of game music ever. You know the observatory theme from Dragon Quest IX, Taylor?
No.
That
Okay. Yeah, I do. Never mind. I know
oh
what you're talking about.
god,
Yeah.
that can put me that just makes me sink into the chair.
Yep.
I just absolutely love that track, and that's probably the pinnacle of relaxing video game music.
I thought you were about to say 8 with that kind of ethereal place. I can't quite remember. Well, because I haven't played 8, so I was kind of like,
Yeah.
I thought that's where you're going. Yeah, like I was gonna say you should totally find a way to get that East Healing CD because that's really
I've, I've,
nice.
lis- I've listened to some tracks. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really good. But
But like you said before with instrumental, like I remember when my friend would buy a lot of different music, we would go to the music store and we would find stuff like Asian instrumental music, and it's beautiful. Like I keep forgetting the name of that instrument, the old school Chinese sort of string. It's
The
it's
fiddle?
it's they. It might be no the one that just they sit it down flat.
I was gonna say the sitar, but that's not right.
Mm.
No,
That's
but yeah, they set it down flat like on a table and they play it that way.
like the koto.
I think so, yeah. And
That's the Japanese one. Though.
I think, I don't know the name of it, but various Asian instruments, and it's beautiful to listen to. It's very serene, and you can just because I'm not a part of that crowd that can listen to I know the real intricate stuff, and they can fall back in that beanbag. Because I've watched so many movies where you see that scene where someone's got the headphones and they lay down on the beanbag and just chill out. It's like when it comes to like sort of I wouldn't say mainstream music. There isn't really nothing I could relax to in that regard.
Nah,
But
I
hey,
don't think it's supposed to. I don't think the mainstream, at least at this point, is about relaxing from
no,
what's in the top 20s and stuff. There,
no, exactly right.
I guess
So
top 40, but
I've never really had that sort of experience. Like, but what I just said before, the Dragon Quest IX music, that's probably as close as I'll ever get.
yeah, there's definitely some of those that are good that you can kind of listen to and feel really kind of serene with and stuff. And I think it's also kind of lend its hand with just what emotion they're trying to convey in the game. Same with
Yeah,
some movie soundtracks. Some movie soundtracks
yeah.
are pretty good about that. Um, but none are really coming to my head at the moment. Actually, I like to listen to the Monsters Inc. Um, what the heck? What's that song? The one where Goodman and Billy Crystal are singing.
It has been nearly a lifetime since I
Uh,
want to think.
what's this? If I didn't have nothing, I wouldn't have you, or something like that. Yeah. But
Uh, I'm not too sure.
well, like, do you know? It's like da 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 do do da da
Like I
da da
said,
do do
I've only seen it
do
once,
do
and it's
do
been
do
a
do
long time.
do 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 do. It's just that, but it's actually sung by Goodman and Crystal, and it's nice. It's just a nice like kind of happy-go-lucky song. So, but yeah, that's a couple of different things there. I mean, what do you think? You're like really like angry, like yeah, like
Death
gonna.
metal.
Not quite. No, you either somebody just really peeves you off, or just something irks the hell out of you. How do you kind of calm down from that, there, Mister Swagmans?
Well, like I said before, the most stressful I've always have been is sort of job search related. Those people really know how to push your buttons. You walk in, and it's funny. It wasn't just me. I would see people walk out going, "Oh yeah, pardon my language, dear listeners, fucking bastards!" And just everyone, just not the nicest of places. And you know what? The ironic thing is, what was right next to there? The DMV.
The casino?
So you had the people coming out of the DMV. You're fucking bastard.
That is a pretty good combo.
So it was just this one building that was just filled with so much dread and anger and angst. No one wanted to go there at all, but you had to go there for various reasons. So luckily, a couple of doors down, is the beach, so you'd go there and I'd do my walks and come down. I'd always probably get my favorite, because I didn't go out of the house that often, so everything that I wanted to do, both good and bad, I'd do in that one day. So, you get your favorite things. Off the top of my head, donuts. I don't eat donuts every day, so if there's I had something shitty like that, I'd probably go out and get some donuts from Donut King and be like, yeah, this is awesome.
A
That and a
food
frozen
pick-me-up.
Coke. But then that was never the main source of the pick me up, but it certainly did help. that and frozen Coke, which is like one hell of a sugar rush.
I was gonna
Shot of
say,
sugar.
jeez, yeah, yeah, ODing on the sugar there.
But luckily I didn't do that all the time, so no, that was good. And of course game hunting. You'd think how that would be stressful. It's good because it's a surprise. It's the element of surprise, that sort of brings you a little bit of happiness. If you don't find anything, meh, you try again.
I was about to say that does not work for me at all, because I hate
No,
shopping. I hate
I
shopping
know.
so damn much. And if there's yeah, that if something was to irritate the hell out of me, it'd be dragged to I don't mind buying stuff that you need, clothes if you need it or something, but not.
That you know what's funny? that's the complete opposite. If it's clothes shopping, I usually don't
Well,
find anything
if
to
you're
that.
if you're taking forever, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm doing something else. But I mean, if you need to buy clothes or something, okay, well, get clothes or something. But when it's just like, it irritates the hell out of me just thinking about it because it's so. And I blame my mother for this. So if she ever does listen to this, she can take the rap for that because when I was a kid, she would always take me around to go shopping in places and just, never really buy much of anything. I understand didn't have the money to afford that sort of thing. It happens. But, like, the one that always sticks out really prominent in my mind is that we went to a fucking Blockbuster. And we were sitting, and it's not a big store. It was all right. But she had to look at every freaking movie like twice in the whole damn store and just take her time. And I know she was doing it to try to be irritating. Well, she accomplished that for more than 10 years in that regard. And it's just like, you should not be doing this. You should not be searching for a freaking movie for 2.5, 3 hours in Blockbusters and come away with nothing. That's what irritates the hell out of me. It's just when you just kind of sit there and like, oh, yeah, look around, and you're just like, and there's usually nothing that can kind of like, nothing individually that calms me down at that point. It's just usually like, we're just gonna like develop an emotionless wall of just non-caring at this point.
Were those the VHS days?
No, this is like still, this is DVDs. The DVDs are, there were some VHS tapes, but I mean, this is DVD had made its way onto the scene by that point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it wasn't, the thickness of the VHS tape did not save me.
Well, just because VHS my friend and I, we used to go there on purpose and actually pick up and try to find the worst of the worst covers and stuff and try to point them out to each other. So we might spend an hour and a half just laughing, finding the stupidest covers that we could and trying to point them out and stuff. But that was on purpose, and we were trying to make a game of it, sort of thing.
Right.
Not just looking at them and going, oh, yeah. And we usually would rent like the worst of the worst, the whatever way we could find that seemed really terrible. This is when VHS, you could rent a tape for $1 for 7 days and stuff. so it wasn't as if it was this big cost to rent these really terrible movies. But I don't know. I guess that's a little bit different situation.
Yeah, those are good old days when I used to get a VHS tape in a Master System game. They were awesome. Oh man.
But yeah.
But it's interesting you tell that story because that's kind of where you never told that before, where it all stems from.
So it stems from my mother. I'm just gonna pin it on my mother.
I usually only like to take my time if it's somewhere I've never been before. If it's somewhere that I have been before, I've kind of got it all mapped out in my head. This is where X, Y, and Z is. I'm going to go over there. If there is anything cool, there's nothing, I'm out. I'm pretty efficient when it sort of comes to that, and I sort of can take my time if I have that inkling something is there, because there'll be something in my mind saying, I reckon today's the day, and then maybe some days it's like just in and out, Bob's your uncle.
For the most part, I'm pretty, I guess, stereotypical man thought there is just get the hell in, get it, and get out kind of thing. But I mean, if it's something that you want to take a look at, you're on a think, all right, I'll have the patience. I will, I can't. I understand it's not always let's get in, get out kind of thing. But
yeah,
I'll try to kind of be patient, but it's just no, just all those, like, I see it as wasted hours, just kind of like sitting there or standing around, and those wasted hours.
I think it's also to do with the environment that it produces. Like, if there is no social environment like those stores, then there really is no reason to sort of stay behind. Like, I always am jealous of, I hear about these mom and pop game stores and people staying there for hours because they get people to talk to. That has never happened in my neck of the woods. Anytime that it's tried to happen, people are so closed up, and they have every right to be. But it just never felt that. Like, you hear stories like game deals in Canada, you know, how that's sort of like a small little community there. People stay and have chats everywhere. And just other mom and pop stores I've heard from other YouTubers. And it's like, that I can understand, because you're not just there for the games, you're there for, you know, to socialize a little bit. But I've never had that experience over there. Most people just want to get in, they want to get out.
It's other stuff to do, Mom. But yeah.
Like,
I'm not gonna bag on my mom the whole time. But yeah, no. There review there, Sushi.
Well, Taylor, does that include grocery shopping for you?
Yeah, I'm pretty like I already have what I want in my head. Doing the scouting report.
Because I'm pretty intense too. Here, a lot of people are really slow, just walking slow, looking at everything, testing all of the free food and this and that. And I don't mind the food testing stuff, but just the walking slow, this shopper mentality of kind of gawking at every window and just flashy lights. I mean, a lot of the places in Asia have all the flashing lights and everything, right? So everyone's just sort of got this sensory overload and just, looking at stuff. And I don't know, I just can't really deal with it, mostly because I walk quite quick in general. But grocery shopping, I don't mind. I don't take my time really, really slow, but sometimes I'll stop in each aisle and just sort of gaze quickly. Okay, you know, this is on sale, maybe I'll get it this time, or I'll just wait for that and this and that. But generally it's kind of, go in and grab stuff and get out.
I am the complete opposite when it comes to the supermarket. I might be even worse than Taylor. It's like, I have what I need to get, and I get it as fast. Like, sometimes I literally run to get. You'll see this guy's like, why the fuck is this guy running? Because I don't want to be here.
Shoplifter.
Yeah.
You get those security people that are pretending to shop and they start beating you up. I forget what those people are called.
No, I'd always go over to because now in Australia we've got those self-serve kiosks. The computer.
Oh, yeah.
It's like ding, 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 in and out. Alrighty. But I hate the Woolworths. They say, you've got free buyer's points. I don't give a fuck. I'm out. Dude, you can have them.
Personally, I don't like that self-serve thing because it's like, I'm here to buy this stuff. Why am I doing the labor too, kind of thing?
Because it's more efficient.
Yeah, no, just kind of like, really, I come into this place to give you my money, and here I am having to serve myself. I mean, it's really efficient if you're only getting a couple things, and you're just like, fuck this, I'm not sitting around and waiting for Tweedledee and Tweedledee to get through with their, like, 3 cart full of dog food. Whatnot.
I mean, of course, if you got a trolley full, you go to a normal register.
Yeah, don't be that guy. Don't be, the super trolley.
Dude. Trying to punch in the coupon code yourself and everything.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, you try and get, like, the carton of Coke, and you're just like, trying to get that one barcode to aim right.
Right. And that's kind of interesting. That probably goes back to what you're saying about being introverted, that it really kind of affects you with that sort of thing. And, people, and that whole, let's, move slower than molasses at the grocery store is aggravating. I'm not saying I understand people looking around trying to get sales and stuff, but you would figure you should know what you're going for.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah,
for the most part. Well, I understand more like the Japan and stuff, or like in Korea, I'm not going to sit there and look at a website to try to figure out what the hell's on sale. No thanks.
it makes me wonder if people don't know what they want until they get into the store. It's like, people figure out what they want to eat at home and then go out and get the ingredients, but it makes me wonder if people say, oh, I don't know what I want to eat. So they go into the store to figure out what they want to
And
eat.
that's the worst damn thing to do.
Yeah.
Then you just buy
Yeah.
a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Usually
never
waste
do
food
that.
you already have.
So, but this is about relaxing. And
You guys don't sound relaxed anymore.
No, bloody
No.
supermarkets.
nah, that's
I will tell you this, Greg. When I was in Australia, they were accusing me of shoplifting. They
I'm
actually
not
accused me of
surprised.
shoplifting, and it was really stupid too. What happened was something. I was with a friend, and he was holding a bag of something. We had actually gone in the store a few minutes earlier, and then someone had realized, oh yeah, we needed to buy something else. So I think I went back in and got it, and then he was standing just outside of the security line area, and then they were accusing us of stealing, and I was just shaking my head, just thinking, oh really? You just saw me come in here, and I went through the same till, but they had changed the cashier. Somehow within just 5-10 minutes, the cashier had changed. And then I was just shaking my head thinking, oh, really? And had this big argument for about a couple of minutes. Not a huge argument, but just I'm trying to explain, he's just holding the bag. If you want to check security tape, I have no problem doing that, and so forth. And they just wouldn't drop it. And then finally they just kind of just said, whatever, just kind of get out of here. So just thinking, really?
No, they're
Pretty
very
silly.
anal. They're anal about that shit over here. It's bullshit. Like I remember one JB Hi-Fi, our biggest electronics store. There's
Yeah.
one guy, and I eventually warmed up to this guy. You could not go in there with a backpack. If you went in there with a backpack, you were followed, and I mean actively followed. Hello?
So I don't know. I went into JB, but I don't know if I had a backpack. I don't remember. If I probably didn't go in with a bag, I guess.
That was probably my store, because I've been to a couple of JB Hi-Fi, like the ones in the Brisbane stores. Oh man, they probably couldn't be effed half the time because they're well, how they position them, you can't get out by not walking past them. So
Right.
they probably check everything. And I know it's one of the places where I can go up and it's like, oh, you're fine, mate. But where I used to live, no one was fine. You're primary suspect number one. But no, it doesn't surprise me. Security is a big thing in Australia. It's sad because of all the shit that has happened that forced them to do that.
it's all great.
Oh, where was this? By It's all my fault, damn it.
All those
but-
PS1 Barbie games that he was pinching from bargain bin.
Oh, my
That was a
syndicate.
secret.
But in seriousness, where was this? Just out of
Small
curiosity.
town. I'll tell you off air just so nobody gets mad. It's a small town.
Okay.
How about yourself this issue when you're like hyper angry?
As I said, I don't kind of get to that point very often, so it's a little hard for me to remember because it has been a long time, and I couldn't quite tell you when it was. But just even when I have an issue with a parent or another teacher sometimes or a student, whatever, I'm pretty calm. And even if I start to get a little bit annoyed or upset, I'm pretty quick to calm. Just my general mentality is always to be really calm about something. It's not to explode. So I can't really express some sort of technique that I use or anything. I think just in my mind, it's just sort of repeating, okay, just calm down. There's no reason and need to get upset about this situation or whatever it is. It's just usually, no matter how bad the situation is, it could be so much worse generally. So I think that's just my thinking on a lot of situations. Even if I get in a car accident or something, it'd have to be something really serious. I mean, and you're saying angry though, so I don't know. In that case, maybe if I was driving some $1 million car and some little, I don't know, Datsun truck or something got in the way and T-boned me or something, maybe then I might actually be angry. But I don't know. It's hard for me to really think of something that I can say that makes me so angry that I need to calm down. But yeah, I mean, it usually takes me less than a minute to be calm again. So you're asking the wrong guy.
Man, I know that the one people, I mean, and not to profile anyone, but road rage is pretty bad in Russia. You see all those videos, and you're just like,
They're
how
pretty
can
intense.
it gets to that stage? It's like, man, you gotta think happy thoughts or do something rather than purposely go and try to convey
Heights and
your
it's,
convey your anger
it's,
to
you're not
convey
kidding,
your
Greg. From what I've seen, it's if that stuff is as legitimate as they seem to claim it is, that
yeah
is incredibly just disheartening in a way.
yeah.
It's so shocking that it's sad. You just feel so uh, almost embarrassed that people would act that way. Doesn't matter where they're from.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and these are the type of people that shouldn't be. I mean, you shouldn't. If someone wants to drive, you can't take away. But if they're like a menace to society, then yeah, anything to
Yeah.
keep everyone else safe. So
Although some of those videos are pretty funny. There's that one where the guy jumps in that hay baler and it spits him out, and he's in the bale. I don't know if you've seen that. He's
No.
literally, the bale is his clothes. He goes in naked and he jumps in, and I'm thinking that would hurt. Like having that much exposed flesh to that hard grass and wheat. But I don't know if I could find it. It's pretty funny though.
The reason I brought it up because recently there was news that made headlines that there was this van and this guy tried to pull up and try to have a go, and didn't realize that in the van was 4 mascot people dressed up in like Disney costumes and everything. And basically, just as the guy was mouthing off to the driver, the guys in the mascot costumes basically opened the door, the back of the van. They couldn't see him, and basically slowly walked up to the driver and started to dish out some mascot justice. So you see this
That's
one
crazy.
angry guy getting beaten up by Mickey Mouse.
Or were they singing any particular tunes? Like the wonderful thing about Tigger's, the wonderful guys just jumping up and down on them.
Oh man, must remix video. Tigger music.
Yeah, the only one of that I've really like that comes to mind was the one where a tank comes flying through on the highway or something and just kind of like crosses a bunch of lanes and stuff. And that somebody it was a biker at an intersection. Light turns green and the biker's still kind of there, and the guy behind him lays on his horn twice. He lays on it once, and then he lays on it again. And the biker gets off his bike and pulls out an axe and starts walking towards the car. The guy starts backing up. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that is crazy.
Not even an axe on its motorcycle.
Just
That's
had it,
amazing.
He just had it, lodged at the, side.
That's from the movie Cobra. There's like a motorcycle gang with axes. Stars Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, Jesus.
So how about that relaxing?
Yeah, well, yeah, it is incredibly disheartening to see people be at such a point to where the responses that are elicited from, just somebody beeping their horn or something is to wield a fucking axe and to start coming at you.
That's crazy.
And,
Yeah.
that's about to go Paul Bunyan on somebody's ass. But I mean, it is just really it really gotta not even just happy thoughts, but just tone it down just a little.
Yeah.
Not everything is against you, just because somebody's saying, "Hey, the light's green," and they're not going to shout, "Hey, the light's green." They're just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Some axe justice.
Axe just. Oh yeah, wow.
Well, something I should bring up, just if anyone's attempted it, but of course one of the things that people attempt to relax, of course, is meditation. And I'm wondering, has anyone here attempted any form of meditation?
Yeah, a long time ago, not recently.
Not, I don't want to say willingly, but not of my own volition. Like, it was kind of like a group thing to try. And it's like,
Yeah.
but
You hear stories, like, I've only done, like, no, but that's sort of the active one where I do feel everything around me, but, you're still sort of, like, peaceful. I've talked to people that said they've meditated, and they've meditated 8 hours. I'm like, how Details, please.
Well, not even just details. It's like you have 8 hours to meditate. Why aren't you sleeping? Kind of thing.
Yeah. It was kind of like a form of sleep. It's like they would meditate, they would close their eyes and open their eyes, and it'd be 8 hours later. It's just like that's some pretty deep Zen
Sounds like
shit
sleep
right
to me.
there.
They're napping. I call napping on that one.
Power
But
nap.
a little long for a power nap there. I was about to say, do you guys have pets? I know some people have pets, and that tends to kind of calm them down.
Except me, I get very antsy when pets are around. Well, I've learned to be calm around cats and birds, but if there's a dog in the house, I will never be like relaxed at all.
Well, I was going to say,
That's
dogs are a little bit more hyper. Cats seem to kind of, well, at least some cats just kind of,
well, cats. I've learned that
Lazy.
cats are like the most sort of because you don't go after cats; they go after you. Mentality. You do what you do, and if they want you, they'll come get you.
mm,
Whereas, as you said, dogs are so unpredictable for someone like myself. It's just like, whoa, it's hard to deal with sometimes. Most of the time.
how about yourself there, Mr. Sushi Bee?
I don't have any pets.
I've had to kind of readjust because I didn't have any in Japan, and now where I'm at, there are 2 cats and a dog, and uh, they're all lazy. I think they take after my family. They're all a bunch of lazy pets, and
Do they go shopping for hours?
they do not go shopping for hours, but they are really lazy, and they like to lay around. There's one. I guess he's kind of a newer cat they brought in that was wild at one point, but it is kind of relaxing to see because it's like, how could you be this fucking lazy, cat? Kind of thing. Like, he'll be laying at one spot, and then I'll be sitting at the where I'm at right now, the desk, doing something, and all of a sudden he'll get up, stretch, and then move like not even like
Millimeter.
not well, no, a little bit more than that. I was gonna say like a third of a meter, not even that, and then be like, okay, I'm done, and then just lie back down. You're like, really, you're this lazy? It's kind of endearing, but it's just like,
It's a
really?
hard life.
Yeah, seriously.
I hate my
Well,
nose.
I don't know. With this cat, it's kind of. I imagine it's like my family really likes cats, and they like this cat a lot. So I kind of feel like the cat gets too much love, and so it comes to me because I don't show it any love because I'm not really a pet person. And he's like, I kind of like you because you don't harass me and pick me up all the time. And like, I don't mind you either, cat, because you don't bother me. So, but, uh, but no, I just because some people do use pets, food. I mean, Greg, you mentioned kind of the donuts and the frozen. Is it frozen custard? Was it or frozen
Frozen
curd?
Coke. Frozen Coke.
Frozen Coke.
Coke.
Oh, okay,
Like
Yeah.
Slurpee?
like a slurpee.
Yeah, yeah.
Slurpee slushy?
Yeah, well, just a quick sort of history lesson. We had frozen Coke more available than we actually did Slurpees for like 10 years. And then 7-Eleven actually did move in and bring Slurpees.
The mega
But it was
Coke.
a little bit too late
Yeah,
because
double
everyone
gulp.
prefers frozen Coke to Slurpees. So
So
I
they are
commend
different?
that. Sorry?
Are they different?
Frozen Coke. Well, it's all to do with flavor. Like, you can sort of taste the hint of, Australia Coke in frozen Coke and why it's nice. Whereas, like, if you go get cola from Slurpee from 7-Eleven, yeah, it's vastly different. So if I usually went to go Slurpee, it has to be some sort of crazy flavor. And they do change the flavor very often. I'm going to say the best flavor I've ever had is lemon meringue pie Slurpee.
Interesting.
That is
Oh,
different.
it was amazing. And
Huh.
of course, never to happen again. It's like, oh man, sadness.
You could try to make that.
I'd just rather
Lemon
eat lemon
meringue.
meringue pie myself.
Exactly.
How about yourself? Is there any sort of like food that you kind of really, or snack that you really like there, Sushi? Is there kind of like,
Um, that's a tough one too. I mean, I'm always up for a burger. I mean, if it, but that's more of a night thing. If it's just kind of, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. What do I want to eat? A hamburger. So that's not really necessarily to get calm. But I like donuts and stuff too. And, a lot of sweet stuff, sweet tooth for things. That's already usually where I'm pretty relaxed though. But I know Taylor, you don't like much, but I like a lot of matcha flavored stuff. But again, it's not really necessarily to get calm. It's just I enjoy the flavor. I guess it is helping calm me down more.
I would say with me, it's cinnamon flavored thing.
Cinnamon's
Not like
nice.
cinnamon sugar, but just freaking cinnamon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Licking the stick.
no, no. I really like just kind of. I love the smell of cinnamon, so
Mm.
just kind of put a little bit on like a piece of toast or something, and it's just like that, just that powdered non-sweet cinnamon and stuff. It's just I really, really, really like it.
Have you had cinnamon spread?
No,
Okay. You might like it, but that's a little sugary too, so
but
you might kind of be about it.
well, I mean, I don't mind it when it's sugary, but I'd prefer if it's not, just because I already eat enough things that have sugar in it, kind of thing. So,
Right, right. Yeah, I like the smell of cinnamon a lot too. What's that? I forget what it's called. It's that sort of wine blend where you put cinnamon and obviously the wine and maybe some lemons and you put some citrus fruits in there and then it kind of lightens up the flavor. What is that called?
yeah, what is that
It's
called?
quite
'Cause I've
nice.
never heard of it.
It's nice. I can't think of what it's called.
I have no
Might
idea.
originate from Germany. I could be wrong about that, but I know you're not a big wine guy though either, so that might not really go for you. But
Well, it's more of like I've never really drank wine that much, so, and I know that's a
this
bit.
is warm. You heat it on the stove,
Uh-huh.
so it's not just room temperature or chilled wine.
Mm. So it's not like I don't like it. I just don't really I don't really have much experience with it, so I can't be like, oh yeah, this is gonna be really good, or yeah, it's gonna taste like crap.
Yeah.
That's a good thing you bring up. Does anyone here you have ever used booze to relax them?
Mm,
The answer for me is no.
yeah, not really. I mean, wine can do that. Wine's quite calming, but some people just get juiced on wine too. So
Mm.
I guess I could say I use wine to calm sometimes, but usually it's to have with a meal or something. So.
Yeah. I know a lot of people and family that that's the one thing that calms them down the most. Like they're very happy drunks. It's not like happy. "Ugh." It's just like they'll be mellow,
Giggling stuff or
No, just calm,
Mm.
mellow and calm. Like the complete opposite to the stereotype, because you do meet some people that just it triggers something in their system and makes them just go ape shit. You know.
That'd just be
Which,
really obnoxious. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm drunk. I can say whatever I want now, and
Yeah.
I'm
Beer tends to do that.
hilarious.
I,
Beer's
I,
the
I, I'm sort of, I've never sort of, when I used to drink a lot, I used to feel like I was on air. I never sort of handled the liquor that well. And I wouldn't be obnoxious, but I wouldn't be in control of my body. Let's just put it that way.
That is bringing up
There's
some,
Craig. He's out of control.
he's out of control. Can't control his body.
So there would be a lot of zombie walks home.
So
So
ones where
it's,
you didn't even know how you got home, or
yeah, exactly. It just been
oh,
like,
that's
oh,
not good.
hello.
That's
So
hmm.
yeah, I was glad to give that up. I never had any sort of calm moments when I was drinking. So
Hmm.
if you can, great, but not for me.
I'd say
Oh,
that, some people they call it like a nightcap, where they kind of will drink
uh,
something to kind of bring them down.
schnapps.
Schnapps. I tried to see if that would work for me, just to kind of like it's to. I think it's for some people where they're just thinking too much and they just need to stop, pump the
Yeah,
brakes, kind of thing. And I tried to do that with just like Bailey's and cream and stuff, so it wasn't anything. It was just a little bit, and it'd be like, but I don't think it ever really worked. So I was just like, okay, I
It
drank.
tastes good.
Right, right. It tastes really sweet, and it tastes kind of like coffee. I could go for this, but it's not letting me go to sleep. Maybe it's because it was Bailey's. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but it's
Irish
just
car bomb.
Irish karma. No. But yeah. So one of you was about to say something there. What was that?
I was just going to iterate, if you need an Irish car bomb to get to sleep, holy shit. That's all I have to say.
That's just getting the party started. So.
Yes.
Well, I think wine can work really well. The thing I like about wine is, as I said, I do like it with a meal. But if I'm going to have wine, I need to be with the right kind of people. They don't necessarily have to be in love with wine,
Yeah.
but just it's the situation and the conversation that's going on. And often some of the best times I've had with people is them having a glass of wine and just sort of laying things out on the table, not getting really intense about situation that they've had at work and whatnot. They're just having a nice time. They're having a glass of wine. They're not getting all drunk and wasted or anything like that. They're just getting calm. And so I think wine does work for a lot of people.
Because that stuff's expensive, isn't it?
Not necessarily. Depends what you buy, right?
I was not that
It
much.
can be. It can
You're
be.
in this call as someone who worked at a liquor store for 2 years.
Yeah, well, I'm not
No.
talking about goon, Greg. I'm talking about...
Goon does not calm anyone down.
Hey, some goon is not bad, though. Some of it tastes pretty good.
You should always feel ashamed to drink out of a cask like that.
I don't know. I actually found some of them weren't bad. So, I mean, I know what you're getting at, though. People just buy it to get ripped. So,
No, it's a social sort of thing. You know, it's a funny sort of thing. Aussies come like, oh, you drink out of a goon sack, mate. Where's your cardboard box?
holding it like a bagpipe under their shoulder,
Yeah.
squirting it straight in their mouth.
I've seen people do that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But
But no, that I was going to allude to is cheap wine. There is something called clean skins, and I had to price these things. And this was the bottom of the barrel, processed at 1,000,000 miles an hour wine for, I'm not lying, $2 a bottle.
oh, it's pretty bad.
Well,
And,
if the bottle
it
was like only like, four.
Scraping the steel barrel. That
Yeah, it was a bottle,
set.
and it was basically a white label of Times New Roman's font, Sauvignon Blanc. So you
That's
knew
awesome.
what you were getting. You knew what you were
Yeah.
getting, and you try that, and you'd be like, "Oh God, I'd rather pay the extra $8 for a pop of bottle."
For passion pop,
Oh, Passion Pop's the next step up.
barely.
Barely.
That's out of a metal can instead of a metal drum. Like it's pretty bad.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Goodness. And I think that's also another way to it kind of relax is to just kind of tell some funny stories there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sayings, laughter has that
Feel the soul.
kind of thing there. I think that's with a lot of people that do have very depressing histories or lives and stuff, is that some of them build this knack for just kind of being comedic, and that really kind of helps kind of relax the soul to an extent in one way. I mean, yeah, you can say that comedians are way the hell off kilter, but it's also that their
Yeah.
what's the word I want to use, their environment. They're at bars a lot of the time, or it's they're working late and on the road all the time.
Pretty hard lifestyle. It's almost like a rock star in a way.
Yeah.
Rockstar. But yeah, kind of.
Taylor's a rock star
Yeah, not really.
in his former life.
In my former life. But yeah, no. That's I don't know. Is there anything else you guys really want to add, or is there anything else you want to add, or?
I'm pretty good.
No, we've pretty much covered a lot of things that we wanted to. We've covered music, walking. I'm interested to hear what relaxes people, our listeners.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you guys come in, listeners. Definitely let us know what kind of things relaxes you when you are sad or angry, or Nervous.
De-
That was
depressed.
one. Depressed. Yeah, that was one we didn't really cover. Nervous. People take deep breaths.
Yes, breathing exercises.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Picturing everyone in their underwear.
Yeah, that never worked for me. I never
Depends
got
on
that.
the person.
Were you just too turned on?
No, it never really. I was just kind of like, oh, that doesn't.
It just sounds funny more than anything.
All right, I don't know if that's maybe what it's supposed to do is just make
I
you
don't-
kind of laugh or.
Laugh maybe.
I know. I just no, I just did it. That was it. I was like, oh, if I have to do this, well, all right, fine, I'll just do it. The end. Ta-da. So, but yeah, no, listeners, people who are listening to this podcast, definitely let us know what are some methods that you use to relax. That's it. Thanks for listening.
Picturing Greg on a beach, laying on a beach towel.
I never
Crab roasting over the fire.
Oh dear. I actually can't remember the last time I lay down on the beach. I'm always just walking. never taking the time to actually.
One of those zombie walks.
Yeah. Actually, there was that one time.
Where you woke up and nothing was your head out of the sand, the rest of your body was buried. Surrounded by an army of crabs.
Oh God!
And you woke up and it was all in your mind.
The context of what you just said then. Oh dear. Oh God. Totally wrong. Yes. Segway.
Segue back to
Please.
finishing this up. Thanks for listening, guys, and have a good day.
I just got kicked.
Ah, Jesus, you sound like you got kicked.
In the balls.
Oh, yeah, it said this call. Something wrong with this call. Well, tell me what's wrong with this call.
Sound better now.
Yeah.
I think it must
RPG
have been
specimen.
specimen. Lag, man.